Hello and welcome. Today we've got Joe Rosati, and we are going to be discussing the liquid that we put in our arms within the domestic situations, and also the latest updates. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview, unless, of course, myself and Joe can agree to choose our words wisely to avoid the censorship. Thank God Mr. T is coming out with Truth Social, which will be launched on February the 21st of 2020. Yep. Joe, thank you for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
I'm doing okay. I just got back from going to a friend's birthday down near Hood River, which was a great experience. But how I'm doing, I'm noticing that there's a lot of friction in families regarding the liquid that is being mandated to put into our arms. And my family specifically, my sister is due in November. And it's come up recently that my mother is not allowed to see the child unless my mother gets the mandated liquid in her arm. And so it's just, I think it needs to be brought up. And I just want to talk with you about this and share this with people. And then, I know on BitChute that people can comment, and I think it would be good if this goes on BitChute, YouTube possibly as well, that if people can share their stories, share, what's happened with them, maybe share insights into where they've gotten information. So I'd like to create more of a forum so people can share their stories, because I have family members, they don't know where to get their news. They don't have the time. They tell me to get a hobby. And right now, my hobby, if you will, is helping unite humanity and helping people understand what is going on in our world. And you've been a big part of that. So that's where I'm at currently, Nicholas.
Well, this is it. I mean, people want to watch movies and be distracted by games and hobbies and other things. And by all means, that's fantastic. But we need to be controversial. We need to stick to reality in a time like this where the world has gone crazy.
Right.
And that is a great hobby that you have. You're trying to expose the truth and put humanity together. One time someone said to me, you can't change the world. And why do you care? Why don't you just mind your own business and get on with your life and stop trying to change the world? And I disagreed with that. And that's why I came up with my platform, because I wanted to change the world. And I believe that. And I have it, I like to have a big mind and like to think big, like the patriots who are listening and the viewers and yourself, because this is our hobby. This is reality, unfortunately. Well, so what's the situation?
Well, it's challenging because, I've reached out to friends and family and most people, they really don't want to hear what I have to say. And, I have a podcast page called Reflection Pool, where people can look at the latest updates that I find. And, there's hardly anyone that really goes there. I think I have 108 people that are followers. But I put it there, and I've been putting it there for months to update people. So if and when they do come around, that they can see that they're, what is going on in the world. Telegram has also been a great place. I follow you and many others on Telegram. But I think the most disturbing thing for me that came up is an extended family member literally called my mom and told her that if she was sleeping and they had the liquid mandate, that they themselves would jab her while she's sleeping. And I just my mom got very emotional about it. To me, that's assault. I can't believe that they said that to my mom. I just lost my dad in January. And the C19, it did have an effect on his health. My dad had congestive heart failure for 21 years, and that didn't help. But, my dad was in and out of the hospitals for a long time, and he was on his way. He was declining rapidly. Anything could have taken my dad out. So my hobby, if you will, or responsibility right now is making sure that my mom is as healthy as can be. I make homemade hydroxychloroquine for her. I do, different mushrooms, lion's mane, chaga, reishi. I'm doing all the things I can to keep my mom healthy and strong, and also researching, where to build our immunity is one thing I'm looking into, and also how our natural immunity is compared to the liquid mandate. What we're talking about. So, what have you found as far as if it seems like I'm finding stuff on your Telegram information and others about how our natural immunity is actually stronger than the liquid mandated substance. What have you found?
Well, I'm finding that when I speak to many doctors who've been on the Oprah Winfrey show, doctors that have been New York Times biggest seller, and many other doctors that have worked with the FDA, and doctors that have worked with the vaccine, they all disagree with what's happening. They've seen that this process has not followed the normal process that other medications have followed previously in the previous decades. And this is unprecedented, even behind the doors with the people that are working inside. They are angry. They have come on my platform. They want to expose this. And they understand that when you sanitize, when you stay indoors, when you wear a mask, all of these things contribute to lowering your immune system. And then you become ill,
Right.
Now, when you tell somebody and you make them believe, you make a healthy person believe that they are going to die, of course they are going to get ill. Their immune system will drop and they will become ill. They will become receptive to many illnesses. I'll give you an example. Let's say you get divorced. You get divorced or you lost your job. How many people get ill and they get a cold or they get a virus? Because when we go through something like that, stress, it lowers our immune system and then we become prone to becoming ill. So being happy and keeping your energy levels up makes a very big difference in our health when we're smiling and being happy. And this is why the mainstream media always spreading fear. It's never good news on mainstream media. They've never
No.
once told us to have vitamin C or vitamin D or to love one another or to do something that makes us happy. It's never spoken about on mainstream media.
No.
And this is really important. So for me, our immune system is very, very strong, providing that we have oxygen. Like when we were at school and we used to tell the teacher that we had a headache or we wasn't feeling too good, the first thing they would do is they would take you to the staff room and give you something to eat.
Right.
Or they would take you outside and say, go and get some fresh air, But now it's the opposite. They want us to stay indoors. They do not want us to mix with other people, to be in their energy field. Okay, they want us to feel lonely. Okay, so it's all communism. This is communism,
Absolutely.
And then if if you speak to somebody who's asleep and they say to you, and you tell them why you disagree with the vaccine, they don't like what you've got to say. They don't appreciate free will or free speech. Like the example that you gave of, I believe, your sister saying to your mother that if she was asleep and she had the chance, she would go and vaccinate her.
Yeah. It wasn't my sister, but it was an extended family member.
An extended family member, right?
Yeah.
So this is the mentality that they have. They don't realize that indirectly they're pushing this communist behavior. And that's the dangerous part of it.
Very.
So our immune system is very strong when we know how to use it. And sanitizing, wearing masks and staying inside and believing we're going to die and wearing a mask because it's not protecting us, it's protecting someone else, which causes division. It's completely communism.
It is. And I have a cousin named Rosemary, and she is very strong, standing up for herself and for her son, Calvin. And he's done his own research. He's 12 and he has chosen to not be in school. He's being homeschooled. And it's amazing that, he he's been doing his own research. And, people look down upon those that do their own research. It's like, if we're not a doctor ourselves, they don't think that we're smart enough to be able to go navigate through the mainstream BS and find people that are credible, that have a solid background in reporting. And then, the other thing is, when you look, it's not like, if you look at the comments in certain things here, for example, there's a new trailer, or the trailer's been out for a while on Fauci, and it's a National Geographic film. And if you go to the YouTube and see the trailer, there's right now 123,000 dislikes and only 8,000 likes. And if you start reading the comments, you can see the world starting to speak their minds on what they think of this person. And, I sent it to my sister and my family in general, but she's the one that commented. And she says, go get a hobby. Instead of, if someone was telling me this, I am her brother. I'm the same, I come from the same parents. And my dad told me before he passed in the last year, he said, son, you need to pray more and you need to get right with God. And I've done that. I've listened to you, and you have such amazing guests. And one of them is Melissa Red Pill the World. And she talks about how what's going on in the world is biblical. And she uses the Bible to share, she shares stories out of the Bible that are correlating to what's going on now. How often do you talk to her? Don't you find her quite fascinating?
Absolutely. I love it when we coincide, politics with what's happening, because
Right.
I've realized that this is not politics. This is between good and evil. They want us to think this is politics so that we can stay out of it and it's boring. But then Trump came in and he made it very interesting, and he exposed the narrative, and it's between good and evil. So there's a lot of biblical sense that comes with it, which is very interesting, because then we can determine what's going to happen, where we're at. And of course, we want to fight the evil and diminish it completely. So we can have a free world and a free thinking world and free, everything free. We're all sovereign beings. It's our
Right.
God-given right. Why should the government take something that God gave us?
Agreed.
That's a galactic right that we have, not just a human right.
Correct.
So absolutely, people need to, yes, we have opinions, and that's fine to disagree, because we're all special, we're all unique, and it's okay to get offended when the other person does not have the intention to provoke, but is purely exercising their free speech. That's vital, and it's okay to disagree with opinions. But absolutely, Melissa Red Pill is amazing. I absolutely love her.
She is, and someone else, a gentleman that goes by the name 107. He just publicly revealed himself in Las Vegas the other day, and he is amazing at talking about how this relates biblically as well. And so I wanted to show people, this is his book, and it's called "Kid by the Side of the Road," and it actually inspired the first lyric in my song "Freedom Now," because there's so much valuable information in this book. I don't know if he's related to the Kennedys or tied to the Kennedy family, but the insight that he has that's in this book is mind-blowing. And to see him and Melissa Red Pill talk about what's going on biblically, those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it. And that's what you see, with the Spanish flu. If you really look into that, what underlying was very similar to the liquid mandate that they're trying to force us to take. And I think if people want to dig, if they want to learn, there's so many amazing channels out there. But you got to want to know. I mean, don't people just think, what in the heck is going on in the world? I mean, can't you see it crumbling around you? And why wouldn't you want to learn the truth? Why wouldn't you want to make time for the truth? Because there's so much of it out there, but you got to be willing to dig a little bit. what inspired you initially to create the show that you have? I mean, you obviously you're a truth seeker.
I'm a truth seeker. I've been awake since I was 18. So when I realized that Donald Trump is draining the swamp, I thought, wow, this is all my life. I've been trying to tell people about this, and I've known about this since I left school. I have to do something,
Right.
and it slowly drove me to it, and I had to do something. And I'm very honored to be part of this. And I'm not only doing something that's giving the truth to the viewers, but I'm also learning myself. And that's what I love. That's what I
I,
love.
yeah, I see it on your face from your guests. I mean, you're constantly learning, and just to watch you grow in the last year, I mean, part of why you and I are here is I saw what you're doing. And then, of course, I wanted to see you interview Gene Decode. And it's just been just amazing to watch you guys flourish, both, him and creating his own channel, and you and the conversations that you two have had over the last, I think, half a year or so. But he's just brilliant to get information from. And the guests that you've had on your show, I watch you learn, and then I learn, and it's just contagious. It's amazing how much we're in this together, and we're helping each other. There's, you don't, sure, there's some stuff going, but you don't see much ego. I mean, we just really want to help each other learn the truth, and that's what I love about this movement. And I think for me as an artist, it's been a challenge for me to learn about certain bands and actors and people in the entertainment industry that are not on the side of good. Because like you said, it is a battle of good and evil. And I only want to be affiliated with those that are doing good. And one of those people is Nick Alvear. I mean, for the viewers that don't know, I released a song and I sent it to Nicholas, and he goes, "This is great. When you have a video, let me know." And I was just thinking, okay, well, I hardly know anyone up in the Northwest that wants to do a film, because I like to collaborate. I like to work with people. I don't like to do everything by myself. So, I showed the song to my producer. We put 110 hours into the song. And then Nicholas says, "Well, how about a video?" And then I'm like, okay. So I reach out to Nick Alvear, an amazing filmmaker that's a Red Pill filmmaker, and meet him in California. And then we go to Shasta together, and I bring my Airstream down, and he shoots it. And he is a beautiful person and an intelligent guy. And this is not the only thing that we're going to do. The Freedom Now video is just the start. There's definitely things that we want to work on. But my point is, those are the like-minded people I want to work with. If they're not on the side of good and not on the side of exposing what happens to children, I mean, like I said, I released a song last year called Hug, and I haven't done a video for it yet. And I did, I put it out there a little bit, but it didn't really grow any legs, and that was okay. It wasn't the focus, because I wanted to do something, because I've heard David Nino Rodriguez and Michael Jacko talk about men need to do something. Mm-hmm. And so, I was driving in my car, and I see people driving with masks, and they're alone. And I got the idea for the song, and it's amazing what's happened to it, but it's all from me reaching out to others, and that, watching people on your show. So you've created this community that we're learning from you, but then we also know who to talk to. And then I reached out to E. Smitty, and he has the record label. So there's this beautiful community of people that are out there that want to help each other. And I think, we're just shunned and just, pushed away from a lot of people on the left. Like, we're crazy. I mean, I think you and I are having an intelligent conversation right now that I think a lot of people can relate to. I mean, do we come across as a couple of nuts? I don't think so. We're just having a conversation.
Absolutely. We're just talking about, what you're saying, and free will and free speech, and the important things that matter to our rights. And some people may think that that's silly when we're speaking about this during an emergency. But then there are so many inconsistencies when you look at the ingredients of the liquid, and we speak about, the people, that the doctors, and what they're involved in. It holds a lot of weight, and it's deciding when to put fear to one side, because
Right.
that's a barrier, and that stops us from seeing through the lenses. So when we put that fear to one side, we give that opportunity to ourselves, that where we can see what the reality is. Because what stops a group of people from creating an emergency to break the law? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just like, they never went for how to build our immunity. They went straight to, like you were talking about, masks and 6 feet apart and all that stuff. And then they usher in this liquid. And but what about, and I think they had to make everything else, like the ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, look like it doesn't do anything, so that then they can usher in what is not even an approved liquid. It's an emergency liquid. I believe that's what I believe. That's something that I've seen people talk about on your show as well. It's not necessarily even approved, is it?
Well, no, it's not approved.
Right.
We have to be very careful with our words if you want this on YouTube. But no,
Right. Right.
you see, the one that the one that they're saying that is approved apparently is not in circulation.
Okay.
That liquid is not in circulation, and that's another one. So it's it's just a mess.
It,
The
it
whole thing is
is.
a mess.
It is a mess.
You know.
I mean, that's mainly what I wanted to go over. That we're just out here, we're standing up for our rights, and I hang out with friends that have had the liquid, and they're still friends of mine. We talk, we agree to disagree, and we move on. But it shouldn't. This is about free will. It should be a choice, my body, my choice. What happened to that? All of a sudden the tables are turned, and then that doesn't matter anymore. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. It's not even rational.
They called Mr. T, Trump. They called him a dictator, but them mandating all of this and telling us what to do, and if we don't, we'll get fines, and manipulating us as well, saying that you don't care about other people. So this is dividing us, because some people believe that, because they're followers. So they believe that, if that person's not wearing a mask, he doesn't care about me. But this is real dictatorship. And we're seeing it right now from the left.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I do. Well, I just, the person behind me, this is my grandfather. That's Joe Rosati. And he came here at age 12 to work on the railroads from Italy. And he worked his way up to being in charge of 60 men. And the tunnel that is in my video, Freedom Now, that's actually my nephew running through from the darkness into the light. And that tunnel is the tunnel that my grandfather managed for many years of his life. And I just, it's crazy when I go to his gravesite and I see his name on there, I just feel kind of this pressure to do something great with the name, and to make him proud. So that's my goal. I'm trying to help kids. I'm trying to help humanity, trying to help spread the truth. And and if you come against me, it's just more fuel in the tank. I'm going to keep going. So I'm not going to be hushed, and even neither are you. And that's what I love about watching your show, is you keep pushing and you keep exposing the truth.
Absolutely. It's our passion. It's the only way. We can't live in denial. We have to live in reality and make a difference. How can we continue our lives like we were before, knowing that thousands, if not millions, of children have been trafficked and nobody's doing anything about it?
Right.
This is definitely, I can't live like that. So if I'm going to live on this earth, I'm going to do what's right and what I believe. And I'm sure you are, and the viewers are, and they're just fantastic. Sharing the videos and sharing and sending me things. They send me things as well, and I post them on my Telegram, and it's wonderful. And I just want to say thank you to those who send me information as well. But Joe, it's been an absolute honor to have you. Thank you very much. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance. So I do have a website. It's called Joe Rosati Collective, and people can go there and they can watch the movies. I'm an actor as well and film producer. They can listen to my music. If they feel so inclined to buy it and contribute, I have a Patreon on there. Venmo, I have that. I guess at Joe-Rosati, because I know sometimes people may not want to do the whole Patreon thing. I think that's monthly, but yeah, I mean, I want to put stuff out in the world, and I want to keep doing that. And I want to make sure that my producer is, taken care of. So we have a lot of things in the works, but like I said, I don't work right now because I don't wear a mask. I don't have the liquid, and it's hard to find people, especially in the Northwest, that are willing to hire patriots. So we got to do what we can do. And I'm just going to keep putting my art out there and connecting and making this, making more people aware that human trafficking is real. And we got to stand up for our children. Because if we stand up for our kids and we educate them properly from the beginning, and we don't erase our history, then we're not going to have all the conflict and people being brainwashed with non-truths, against those that have found the truth and are trying to share the truth. So it all starts with our children. That's the main thing that the focus is. And that's mainly what I have to say, Nicholas.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. And I'll gladly leave your links below so that people can contribute and they can read more about you and your music video that you produced with Nick Alvia, which is fantastic. It's very funny, very patriotic, and you're educating as well, which is great. But thank you very much, and we'll speak again very soon. God bless you.
Thank you, Nick.